Hi, everyone. It is Jaylene Diaz, your host of today's Apple Tower Talks. Today, I have special guest, Danny Manzano. Thank you so much for making time for me.
Thank you, Jay. You're always really reeling me in, huh?
I have to. They love to see our faces. People have really enjoyed our content, and I think that it's only right that we continue to provide them with top-notch educational topics.
I agree. I've gotten some good feedback as well. So happy to be able to give this content to all our viewers.
Me too. And today we're doing something completely different. We are in our podcast room giving a podcast style video. I am completely controlling our roadcaster. So
Crickets.
if there
It
are
works.
some mistakes, just be patient and be happy and laugh.
I love it.
I think I'm getting the hang of it. Oh, we're going to have so much fun. So a lot of the times we try to plan out what are we going to talk about next? What kind of information are we going to provide out to our audience? And while I was thinking about what we should talk about, I was also kind of noticing that I'm closing a lot of refinances lately.
That's true.
Like a lot, which wasn't happening in the earlier couple of months, and it's slowly increased. I think that the last time we saw a higher volume of refinances was during the pandemic when the interest rate was what it will never be again.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. The market has shifted and people started having use for refinances. So yeah, I completely agree with you. I've seen the pipeline shift a little bit. So I think it's great content.
Yeah, for sure. So my first idea on what do we talk about and what do we tell the audience? Okay, what is a refinance?
Okay, so a refinance is a lot of stuff, but to put it very simple, a refinance is when you are financing or when you're looking for a loan that's going to use up the equity of your house. Pretty much, you're going to a bank. Hey, bank, lend me some money. I'm going to put my house as a collateral, a house that you already own. That type of transaction is called a refinance, regardless of whether you owe or you don't owe. You're still the title business, the title industry, or the mortgage industry is still going to call it a refinance.
Okay, and there might be people that don't know how to get started. So where would they go first to see if whether or not they want to refinance, or who do they talk about to see what is the best option for them?
Great question. It would be their lender. I mean, if they have a specific preferred lender, they would go to their lender. Their lender would look at their credit profile and determine if they're able to qualify them for a new loan. Obviously, as part of the qualification, they will look at the property and they will possibly go to Zillow.com or some type of automated valuation models where they will be able to see how much the property is worth and determine how much money they can afford or they can give them as part of the refinance.
Okay, and what are some options that the lender may offer to the borrower that they can go ahead and proceed with the refinance?
So it all depends really on the credit profile of the borrower. But all the refinance will fall into one of two categories, in my opinion.
Okay.
It would be a cash out refi or a rate and term refi.
Okay. So, wait. There we go. That's the one I was looking for. Okay. What is a cash out?
Okay, cash out is exactly what that means. You're getting money and taking it out of your house to use it somewhere else. So when you refinance, the bank is going to lend you and put your property as a collateral. So you take that money and you use it up on whatever you want to use it. Okay. You know, some examples is debt consolidation when they go ahead and pay off some higher interest loans. Okay, they need to do a new roof. They want to remodel their kitchen, and sort of everything of that nature is going to be considered cash out.
Okay.
The other option is the rate and term. You want to do the sound?
Not my guest telling me how to use the controller.
Yes. So there you go. Thank you.
Rate and term.
Yes, rate and term. So rate and term is exactly that again. When you want to get a loan to change your rate or your terms.
Okay.
Okay? What is this? You may be asking yourself, well,
We are all asking, what is this?
it's very simple. You have a 8% interest rate and you get an offer for 4% interest rate. So you say, okay, I'm going to save a couple $100 a month. Why not? You know, I'm going to reduce my interest rate. Okay? That is the rate. Okay? Term, rate and term. So meaning some people also do the rate and term to pay off existing loans to change their maturity dates, their repayment periods. So instead of having a 30-year loan, they want to reduce it to 15 years. And they do that through a rate and term refi. The caveat here is that the borrower cannot walk out with more than $2,000 on their pocket. So everything that they take on the new loan is going to be used to pay for the closing costs and to pay off the existing loan. If there's something left, the borrower cannot take more than $2,000.
Okay, very interesting. Not too much of a benefit for the borrower in that case, but why would that still be maybe a good option for them?
Well, because, I mean, it's not going to be a benefit for them because they're not going to take money in their pocket, but they're saving a lot of money on a monthly basis because they're reducing their interest rate from 8% to 4%. So that sometimes it's a lot of benefit.
Yeah, one thing for the other, it's definitely more beneficial because they're not walking out automatically with $2,000, but they are saving a couple $100 every month.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. That is correct.
Well, thank you for that great explanation, Danny.
No problem. And the other thing is that I just told you a good example where the interest rate is reduced, but there could be a combination of both.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there a lot of people after the pandemic when they saw the interest rate were at a 2-3%, and now they've gone down a lot more than what they were before. They were in the high 8s, 7s. A lot of people kind of are hesitant to refinancing because of such a high interest rate. So if that's still an option for them, why should that maybe be kind of the route that they choose? When people see high interest rate, they don't want to refinance. But maybe it's a high interest rate, but they're getting something out of it regardless.
Absolutely. It could, even if their interest rate is a little higher than what they're actually paying now on their mortgage, it could still be beneficial for them because they could do a combination of both. So basically, they're going to get a cash out to pay credit cards that are at 30% interest rate. Okay? So let's say, hypothetically, you have a borrower that's at 4% on his mortgage interest rate, but has a lot of high interest credit card debt, which is the situation of many borrowers. So it's very convenient for them to go ahead and pay off the high interest rate credit cards, even though they're increasing their interest rate on the mortgage side. The end number, like the net figure, they're gonna end up be paying less.
So I totally understand now how the borrower benefits when the interest rates go down on the rate and term refinance.
Yep.
They don't get any benefit then when the interest rate goes up, does it?
It depends though. It depends because when the interest rate goes up, but they are paying off like very high interest rate credit card debt, it could make sense for them. It depends. The answer is always depends. So a borrower that's paying, let's say, a 4% interest rate, but they have a lot of debt at 30% credit card debt. It doesn't matter at the end result when you do the calculation of the combined interest rate between the mortgage, what they're paying on their mortgage and what they're paying on the credit cards, and you combine them. It doesn't matter if the interest rate on the mortgage goes a little bit up because they're saving in the long run by paying off those 30% credit card debt.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's a huge benefit. You knock down all of your credit cards, your interest rate is a little bit higher, but you're only paying one thing.
Correct.
And you get a fresh, clean slate.
And sometimes not only you're paying one thing, sometimes you're even paying less than what you're paying when you're doing the combined interest rate.
Of course, that's totally that's a good key. That's a good piece of advice that a lot of people might not know. They're so focused on just trying to get out of their debt and holding on to the interest rate that they got because they bought it during the pandemic. But there's a huge weight that's lifted off them as soon as that's taken care of.
And I'm glad you reeled me in, because I really highly believe that is people are starting to realize that, and that's why the refinance have been going up, in the recent days, because people started seeing, okay, hey, doesn't matter if my interest rate on the mortgage goes a little bit up. I'm gonna pay my $60,000 that I owe at 30%. Mm-hmm. So it's beneficial. So even though the interest rate is going up a little bit, it's still beneficial for them because they're using up that money to pay off other debt.
Yeah, and I think that goes to show that there's a lot of good mortgage brokers that are providing good education, that they're following up on clients that they have closed in the past before, and kind of guiding the borrowers that don't know what to do to make the right decision for their future, and kind of just continue to evolve on the equity on something that they invested, so much in. And this is people's life savings that they can use moving forward, not just to live in the house or own it, but what else can they get out of it? So mortgage brokers are doing a great job. Mortgage brokers are the ones that go ahead and provide us the refinance for the most part. They come directly to us through the bank. The borrowers sometimes don't really know that they have the opportunity, or that they're the ones that make the choice on choosing a title company. Kind of steering the direction a little bit to kind of bring the light onto us now that we provided them the information. But actually, let's recap.
Okay.
So a refinance is
when you're using up the equity of the house.
Okay, and then for the most part, there are two categories for what people refinance for.
Cash out and rate and term. Professional
to guide them on what's the right choice for them is the lender.
The lender or mortgage broker.
Okay, so borrowers don't know this, but they're the ones that actually make the choice on choosing the title company.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, always. Yeah. Whether it's a purchase or whether it's a refinance.
Right. Going back to them not knowing much information about this, they depend on their lender. The lender, for the most part, chooses a title company. So if they had a choice to pick Apple Tower, and they did, which they should, what does the title company do in a refinance? Why are we involved at all?
Basically, the role of a title company is to provide the title insurance to the lender. So the lender, as part of their loan conditions, is going to require, okay, in my loan, I want it to be in first lien position, or I want it to be in second lien position, because they could be doing a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, that the bank is okay with going on second lien position. Okay?
Meaning we don't have to pay off the first mortgage.
Correct. Exactly. So in that case, they want a title insurance insuring them that they're in second lien position. Okay. But if we're paying off a first loan, which is usually the case, the lender wants insurance that they are in first lien position, and they are the first company that can foreclose on that property in the event that the borrower goes into default. So for that, they're going to need a title policy that's issued by a title company. So every refinance, and it's important that you guys know this, every refinance has to go through a title company. And regardless of whether the lender is recommending the use of one, you as a borrower always have the choice to select your provider of choice.
So why should they choose Apple Tower Title?
Well, because we can give them really good service, and obviously we can provide them with good fees as well. And we're striking a deal where we can send them mobile notaries to their house. They don't even have to come to our office to do the closing. We will send them someone to sign in the comfort of their home or their office.
And a lot of buyers that close with us on their purchase may not know this, but if they are refinancing, we already have your paperwork and file. So not only are you going to get a discount for being a recurring client, but you're also going to be provided with the reissue credit that goes towards this new refinance loan, and it'll give you an additional discount.
That is correct. That is correct. And obviously, we can provide to returning customers, we can provide returning customer discounts as well.
Yeah, for sure. We want you guys back. We want to provide you with the right knowledge. We want to give you still such an impeccable service. I mean, it is a refinance, but everything you do towards your investment is a milestone worth celebrating.
Oh, they'll get some good cafecito here at the office if they come, and they'll get a new plant, the plants that we give out at closing.
So that's why you should definitely come and close with Apple Tower Title. Let's do a quick little recap so that we can wrap this video up and have everyone ready to tune in to next Title Talk.
Yeah, a lot of information on this one. Good information, though.
Good information, valuable information. And just to kind of put this in the next 45 seconds, let's wrap it up. What is a refinance?
When you use up the equity of your property.
What are two types of refinances you can do?
Cash out and rate and term.
Is a title company required to close a refinance?
100%.
Who should they be closing with?
Apple Tower Title.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us, and stay tuned for your next Title Talk.